We're live here in virtual land as well as reality land, talking about shoes and ships and sealing wax and cabbages and kings. Okay, so that's Jabberwocky, folks. Through the Looking Glass, Alice in Wonderland. Okay, so whoever just came on, if you could let me know that, give me a hi, and that way I know that you can see and hear me, that would be really great. And David, you win a spiritual mind treatment from me. So just let me know what that is when you get a chance, and that'll be great. Somebody else came on? Nope, nobody else is saying anything. Okay, this is weird. All right. Okay, so good. All right, so yes. All right, well, Clee, how about that? Clee, also, you also win a spiritual mind treatment from me. So just let me know what it is you'd like me to do that work for you, and I will. And welcome. And oh, David's already claimed it. Okay, David, I'll do that for you later. Excellent. So now, what qualities of the divine what do you want me to treat for right now? Here in the studio audience and those of you out there. I've got perfect health. What else?
Increased good.
Increased good. Okay.
Releasing resistance to good.
Deeja says releasing resistance to good, and she's saying that for me. Okay. Maybe for herself too. All right. Good morning, Stephanie Ann. Good morning, Regina. Robert, good morning. Peace, love, health. Peace and love. Oh, we got a couple of pieces, a couple of healths, a couple of loves. Oh, love's winning. And then increased good and release resistance. Clarity. And accept our blessings. Yes, Angela, welcome. Yeah, that's another version of releasing our resistance to our good. So maybe that increased good that we are desiring is already there. And maybe we need to just release our resistance to accepting it. And it's already there. That's my story. Or maybe that's God's story. And we're tuning into it. Okay, spiritual mind treatment. This word is being spoken for each one. There is one. That's something that cannot be named, and yet every single naming of it, it becomes. This something is naming itself, I am that I am. And in that divine naming, each one is created. Because that divines I am that I am, always being all that it is, unchanging, infinite, eternal, forever expresses in a unique and in an absolutely wonderful way. And that is what each one is. Each one is a creation of the I am that I am, and created according to that divine's intention of declaring I am that I am. And the divine intention is always an intention to express all that it is. That includes all of its love, all of its peace, all of its harmony, all of its health. All of it is in the name of God, declared, that is creating each one. And so even now, the divine is declaring itself in, through, as, all around each one. It has not changed its mind, and it does not change what it believes itself to be. And so even now, this divine knower is knowing itself as health, peace, love, harmony, goodness. And each one now is more aware of this truth than any before. Each one is seeing with that divine light, seeing with crystal clarity the spiritual truth, the I am that I am. And in this divine eyesight, each one is seeing with crystal clarity that all that he or she is the substance of the divine expressing itself and that this divine is desiring to express itself in a free, happy, abundant, healthy, joyous way. And so each one is seeing with crystal clarity what the divine is seeing as possible, what the divine is knowing is possible, that the divine, in knowing what is possible, is also providing all that is a part of making it real, of creating it, and of creating it right where each one is. So, any belief that one is an exception, any belief that there is something wrong with him or herself, any belief that someone does not have the right consciousness, any belief that one needs to work hard in order to get something, all struggle and effort, or all belief that there is not expanded or increased good for someone, all belief in any and every false belief that has ever entered the consciousness of anyone is all by this word erased, evaporated, and vanished, just like the fog, just like the darkness, the light of wisdom, that light of divine sight is now seeing everything with crystal clarity and seeing the good that is present, seeing the love that already is, seeing the health that is omnipresent in one's being, seeing all the good, all that the God within sees, each one is seeing. And in seeing this beautiful image of the divine's intention and purpose in creating anything, and seeing all of this, any fear of change, any resistance, rejection, or rebellion, or any arguing about change, any belief that the world is making one change, is all erased, evaporated, and vanished. The only change that is required by anyone or from anyone is to see more of that omnipresence of love, of joy, of goodness, of peace, of order, of harmony, to see this more clearly. The only change required of anyone, and in truth, the only change that anyone can experience is what he or she is seeing. That perspective of moving away from viewing the world through human personality, of viewing the world through false beliefs, viewing the world as struggle and effort and arguments and conflict and fights, of viewing life as life is, pure, wholesome goodness. And in seeing all of life as that which it really is, each one is able to experience more of what this life already is. The love is already present. The life is already present. The peace, the power, the harmony, the health, the support, the wealth, the clarity, the knowing, the guidance, the wisdom, the truth, all that is the divine is already present. And each one is now seeing this truth, that divine reality, in a clearer way than ever before. And so, any other good reasons for seeing less, any remaining fear or belief in the material, any mistaken, inverted view of cause, seeing that which has been created as being cause, as being power, as having influence, as affecting one, is all erased, evaporated, and vanished. And with this wholehearted and whole-bodied acceptance of pure, wholesome, loving goodness, being the only presence that is, each one is peacefully, easily, grace-filledly, calmly, allowing any unconscious or conscious resistance, rejection, or rebellion to the greater vision of the divine to be released, vanished, and gone. I am that I am is. Life is, love is, joy is, all that each one desires is. And each one is now allowing that which he or she is believing and thinking and seeing to be changed, to see the presence of all this good already here. And as a result, each one is experiencing the correspondence in the material world of that which is seen in that eyesight of each one. Greater health and vitality, greater love and joy. Ah, so much more peace of mind and circumstances. Wonderful, harmonious relationships that are a true creation of love, knowing and sharing love. Each one accepting that full support of life, supporting itself in health and vitality, as well as in resources and whatever is required, and that this divine support takes form on every level of human expression. So, that form that the divine eye sees and creates is perfect right order and divine right action in finances, in government activities, in technology, in administration, in recycling, in all the details of expressing life. That divine is present in every single detail. And being omnipresent, it has a place for everything in its wonderful, harmonious order. Each one is in that place in knowing this truth, and everything that is surrounding each one takes its rightful place of harmony, peace, and right action. This is the truth, and boy, am I personally glad this is the truth. And so I now let this word go to the law, that loving law that has already made the universe in this way and is now changing each one's vision so that each one is able to see and experience that which this life already is. I let it go, it is done, and so it is. And that's the way it is. I'm sorry, I saw myself when I came out of it. I'm like in another little world over here. So, welcome everyone. Welcome Raul, Stephanie Ann, and Margit. I think I've said hello to everybody who has checked in so far. Yeah, okie dokie. All right, we're ready to get going. All right, so Reverend Rich, take us away.
Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in love. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in joy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy. holy ground. For I walk in peace. Everywhere I am is holy ground. For the power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Gentle, easy, gentle, easy. Change the song.
You changed the song on me. And so, being everywhere we are, being holy ground, let's just take that moment and right where we are, let that be in our awareness, holy ground. And in this place, claim the good that our heart desires, realizing that the desire in your heart is not something you came up with, but something that the divine desires to create. And it needs your okay, needs your permission to allow it to create that good in your world. And so each one of us just trusts in that divine desire within and claims it, says yes to it, and then the divine makes it so. Our job is over. We simply accept. And so let's do that now and see what shall manifest.
Everywhere I am is holy ground. For I walk in power. Everywhere I am is holy ground. For the power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Gentle, easy, gentle, easy. Good morning and welcome. I'm the welcome. Don't get ahead of me. So we are experiencing the latest incarnation of our celebration of the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. We are welcoming, joyous, loving, completely perfect in God's eyes. And I'm not pointing upwards. You didn't see that. That we are here, and we are here to Reverend Karen mentioned someone in your opening part. Someone said to be able to accept our good, and we are here to give everyone the tools, if they care to learn how to accept our good, because it's one of the hardest things to do, is to accept something new, something good in our lives, because of who knows why. We have all kinds of reasons, all kinds of things floating around in our minds. Reverend Jim Lockhart this morning posted on Facebook, what's the biggest obstacle to us realizing, making a change for something good? And he said it's our desire for comfort. It doesn't feel good to make a change, even if it's a positive change. We resist it. We stick to our old ways because it's more comfortable to be uncomfortable sometimes than to make that change, to be more of what we want to be. I know it all. I do it all the time. And it's become the center of my prayer, is for me to be able to recognize and to realize that I am loved by the infinite, that we all are loved by the infinite, because we all are the infinite. And it can't help but be love and peace. So here we are. We have our celebration. We have our wonderful Reverend Karen, who's going to be delivering her wonderful message today. And I have a few announcements. Actually, I have one announcement. The Wednesday night workshop is back. Our practitioner, Susan Nee, is giving it. And she has sent me a little announcement to read. 2021 is a new chapter. With God as your co-pilot, anything is possible. And during this time, through the writings of our beloved mystics, we will contemplate, meditate, and journal on ideas that will help propel us forward from good to greater good, and maybe to accept our greater good and to make the most of it. It's 7:30 p.m. It's Wednesday night. All of our Zoom information is on our Facebook page and our website. And she says thanks to me. Because I'm reading it. So that's pretty much it for the welcome. I welcome everyone. That's my job, to welcome, to joyously welcome all of our studio audience here, and to I was thinking about. So I am speaking. I am here in a form, and my voice is making vibrations which move through the air. They excite the microphone in the computer. It gets digitalized, as does my image, and it moves in some mysterious ways. Maybe John knows how it does it, but it moves in a mysterious way, and it comes into living rooms throughout the land, and even as far as Thailand. Yeah. Almost instantaneously. I think there's a little bit of a lag, but not much. So that is the most amazing thing, if I think about it. So here we are. Here I am, and I'm here, and I'm there. Maybe 7 seconds later, right? Okay. We live in an amazing time. Abundance is our birthright, surrounds us every day. Our consciousness can hold the thought of prosperity today. The message is quite simple. Peace be unto you. It's all yours for the taking. I swear these words are true. Close your eyes. Let your mind be soothed. Let the joy of giving flow from God to you. Close your eyes, let your mind be soothed. Let the joy of giving flow from God to you. Every day we get the chance to practice what we preach. It's not that hard, just speak your truth. It's all within your reach. Close your eyes. Let your mind be soothed. Let the joy of giving flow from God to you. And now we'll have our practitioner moment of contemplation.
Good morning. I'm John Heron, and I'm a practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. And so a theme seems to have emerged this morning of how we block ourselves from receiving our good. And if you remember, a few weeks ago, we learned a new affirmation: increased good flows to me from all directions. and through all people. And I've been practicing that. It really stuck with me. When I find myself holding on tight to something that really doesn't serve me, I ask myself that question. Well, one of the questions I ask is, why in the world am I holding on to something that doesn't serve me? Because I'm aware that increased good, the next step in my growth, is flowing to me. It is just waiting for me to open up my heart and my mind to receive it, because it's present, as Reverend Karen said in her treatment this morning. And so I thought, let's do a little meditation this morning on opening up to our increased good. So right now, if you're so moved, take a nice deep breath. And as you let go of it, let go of any tension you might experience in your body. And another one, increased good. Let it fill you up, and let go of anything that you might be holding on to. And notice what your mind did at that moment I said, let go of anything that you might be holding on to. Was there a thought, but I can't, I don't know how? Was there a thought, I don't want to let go of it? So just for now, as a little experiment, open up the channels. Let your increased good flow to you. Let your mind settle on what's the next step for you in any part of your life. And maybe it's physically. What would it feel like if increased good flowed to you and you let it in? Would your shoulders feel better? Would your digestion be better? Your feet hurt less? What do you need to get out of the way and let your increased good flow to you? And what about in your relationships? Is there a deeper sense of loving that you could bring to your relationships that would help you to let go of whatever you're holding on to that might not serve you right now? Just let that flow into you. Because remember, increased good flows to me from all directions and through all people. And what about in your everyday life, your job, the things that keep you busy? What could you let go of now? And what would you experience if you let go of it? Increased good flows to me from all directions and through all people. And what about in your abundance? How do you define abundance? And is there a bigger definition inside of you waiting for you to recognize it? Maybe abundance, money's a part of it, but maybe it's a much bigger thing. Is there a bigger life knocking on the door, waiting for you to open and let it in? So right now, as you breathe nicely, relaxedly, deeply, let it in. How does it feel to let in increased good? What thoughts are floating up in your mind? And are you letting them in? What's the next step in increased good for you? And just allowing that to be present. I'll do a spiritual mind treatment. So this word is for all who are participating in this service this morning, and for the world, and for me. Knowing that there is an infinite flow of increased good, that God is infinite creation, always creating for the highest good of each in every moment, and therefore always creating for the highest good of each one who is participating in this service today. And knowing this to be true, I now know that each one is experiencing the next step in increased good, and there is an inflow of joy and great love being experienced and expressed by each one. And each one is knowing that he or she is finding their own increased good. Each one is knowing themselves as the highest good. This infinite flow of good is present in each one's life. And each one is now living an expanded life. The next step has been taken. The door has been opened, and in flows the divine. And as each one moves forward into their week, into their lives, each one finds in wonderful places increased good. And each one makes the choice to allow it to flow. And I know that this is the truth. I am truly grateful for this truth in my life, in the lives of all who are listening, and in the world. I release this to the law. The law is already taking action, and it is done, and so it is. Thank you.
Many pray along the way, they don't stop to wonder. The world is coming to, they let something higher reveal the way to greater love. Oh yeah, so the world is telling me, sing of liberation for the ones who are not free. Love can take us higher, reveal the way to higher love. Oh yeah, so we let it wash over us, we let it make us kinder, we let it make us better, we let it be, we let it early in the morning, we let it hold us together, we let it down forever, we let it be, we let it. Just some cry along the way, walking through this sadness, a world that needs to know love can take us higher, reveal the way to greater love. Oh yeah, so the truth is telling me love's the only answer to all humanity. We can stay inspired, reveal the way to higher love. Oh yes, so we let it wash over us, we let it make us kinder, we let it make us better, we let it be, we let it early in the morning, we let it hold us together, we let it down forever, we let it be, we let the love wash over us. We let it be. wash over us. Whoa, we let it be. Joy. We let the joy wash over us. Yes, we let it be.
I love that song. All right, so let me respond to this thing that's in my way. Okay, good. All right, so we got some thank yous. John, for that's good. And Debbie Joy, whenever you come, it's wonderful. Okay, great. Hello, Marilyn. Hello, Damaris, Cheryl and Eric, Margit, and all those I've already said to before. All right, hang on. So, for many of us in our spiritual community, we've been doing spiritual practice for 40 days. A lot of the Christian world calls it Lent. We've given it a different name, Tessera, which was the Greek name for 40 days or Lent way back when. And we've been, practicing it in our own little way and focusing on prosperity, which John Randolph Price tells us the prosperity consciousness is the realization of God as the source of all good. So it's not money and greed that we're talking about when we're talking about prosperity. And it's not just wealth that we're talking about when we talk about prosperity. It's about thriving, not just surviving or let me get by, but thriving. Thriving happens when we are being all that we can be, the most that we can be in each moment. And as we be more in one moment, we realize, wait, I can be even more than that. So it is an experience of growing in our awareness of who we are. It's all about our own self, because that's all we've got. I was sharing with people before our service that I've been having this continuous argument with the world in my own head lately. And yeah, it's with the world. Even though you all out there in the world aren't aware of this argument I'm having. But the world, for me, my world, is all in my own head. And so today we take a look at John Randolph Price's 40-day prosperity plan. And at a certain point in moving through his 40 days, he brings up this spiritual truth, which I'm sure you've all heard over and over and over again. And yet he claims it's so important that we've got to get clear about it. We've got to be aware of it, because this particular aspect is our experience of prosperity. And so what is that? What is that? So he mentions it in at least four of his spiritual truths. We want to know that the divine presence I am is the source and substance of all my good. That's one. I am conscious of the inner presence as my lavish abundance. That was two. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. My consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. That's 3. My awareness, understanding, and knowledge of the all-providing activity of the divine mind within me is my supply. That's the 4th. Within me, inner presence, in me, I am. Where is that? Where is that? If you know where it is, point. Where is that? The divine presence within you. Where is it? Jeff's back there. He's having a great time pointing. Come forward and stand here and point where this within me presence is. That was a visual aid. Did that explain anything? So I ran to Ernest Holmes, the Science of Mind's concordance, which gives you a different word and shows you all of its locations within the Science of Mind textbook. And the word within had a whole page and a half of citations. So I looked them all up, and it's like, yeah, it's the divine within me, that spirit within me, God within me, and that one of the things that some people have said about the Science of Mind is that we move from a belief in God out there to a God within us. And I have heard the comment or the dislike that, well, where's the love? That the Science of Mind in teaching that we're not talking to a God out there, we're talking to a divinity within us. Well, what happened to the love? It's all about law now, because Ernest Holmes even places the law within me. He calls it the universal subjective mind. Within me is the law that's creating my life. And then, so you hear all that, and you're like, okay, yeah, I believe it. And then you have John Randolph Price, who is saying that our awareness of the presence of the divine within us is our prosperity. It is the creator of our good. It is the cause that brings to us our health and our wealth and everything else. So this is really important, because it sounds like saying believing in a God out there ain't going to do it. You got to believe in the God in here. So where? I'm going in here. Where? Where? When you think, where are you thinking? Right? And then we have a biologist, Dr. Bruce Lipton, who tells us that every single cell is thinking, and that its membrane is its mind. Every single cell. And that Jeffrey keeps locating the divine in different places back there. What? Okay, so let's get clear here. All right, let's get clear. As human beings created in physical form, we also have created for us time and space, these dimensions, these modes through which life is expressing. And because we are a part of time and space dimension, we have accepted it because we need to, right, in order to get around, but we also have believed that that's the only way. And so when we talk about where is something in our human realm, yeah, we mean physical location. But when we're talking about life or God, what we want to realize is we're not talking about locations. We're not talking about time or space. The divine is non-localized. Our scientists know what I mean here, right? Non-localized. If something does not exist in space, but it exists, then it doesn't exist dependent upon a location. And then the physicists, the quantum physicists, will leap to, well, it exists everywhere. So the closest I could come to is this. Couple thoughts here. Where is love? We can feel it in ourselves. Yeah, I'm feeling love. I'm feeling the love, right? I watched a video this morning of a cat getting introduced to a brand new baby. And it had to go through 7 stages of getting to know the baby, according to the people who made this little video. It was adorable. I'm not so sure that the cat ever really did start loving that baby, but the people who created the videos thought so. But that's fine. Okay, so that love is something that is non-local. We keep kind of trying to want to make it local, like, you know, I love you and you love me. I'm feeling your love for me, but that's really not the way it is. Love is everywhere present. We can feel love wherever we go if we tune into it, if we think about it. And so I can feel the love and each one of you can feel the love. And the tubes that are connecting this, it's tubes, Reverend Rich,
Tubes,
that connects us to Thailand. Physical tubes
works for me.
through the ocean, under the ocean. Yeah, read the book, Tubes.
Light tubes, yeah.
Yeah, all over the place, physical tubes. But even though, you know, the physical tubes are running the internet, internet's moving on it, the thing is that it's omnipresent. It's everywhere present, right? Everywhere on the planet now, we're having that physical experience of all being able to connect and seeing this conversation right here, right now. And to feel it, right? Those of you who are in virtual land, you can feel the love that we here in this room are feeling. I know that you can because you've told me that you can. And so love is everywhere present. And then we experience it according to our awareness of it. Isn't that what John Randolph Price said? My awareness of the inner presence is my good. He says, right, my awareness of that I am inner presence as my supply is my supply. Now we'll bring in love because we think we can figure that out, right? My awareness of love as my love is my love. So, more words, my awareness of love as me becomes my experience of love as me. But when I'm cranky, there ain't no love. Our perception determines what we experience of something that is everywhere present, non-local. Now, there are things happening elsewhere in the world, physical things, people moving around on the planet, and I cannot perceive that. I'm not there. I don't know what's going on. I open up, the BBC News or Easy Italian News, and I read about what's happened elsewhere in the world. I am not physically there, so I don't know what all happened. I can read about it, but they could be lying. They could be making it up. It's in Italian. What do I know? I mean, but the thing is that that's localized. And you're seeing what I'm dressed in right now. because you have that mirror looking at what I'm dressed at. But if you were just hearing my voice, you wouldn't know what I'm wearing right now. So we've got time and space that we're dealing with, and we have factual experiences that we can see and experience only if we're there. But when we're talking about the divine or any of the qualities of the divine, what we want to realize is the divine is omnipresent. It's not dependent on location. And so we can always feel it. So this, right? John Randolph Price, right? He says, right? Prosperity. What is prosperity? Where'd you go, prosperity? Let's see. The realization of God as the source of all good, and that God is right where I am. And that realization dictates what we experience of God. So we think of that with love. Where's your imagination? You might want to place it in your head, or maybe now in the membranes of your cells. But where is your imagination when you are asleep? I had some really good dreams last night, and my alarm kept waking me up, and I kept putting the snooze on because I wanted more of that dream. It was in my imagination, but I was in that dream. But I was in my bed physically, but I was in that dream. It was a really great dream. All kinds of great stuff was happening. It's a rare dream for me lately. And so, where was that? Where was that? So we've all had this experience of non-localized experiences. Our imagination, as I said, I have brought the whole world into my mind, and I've been arguing with it. And my argument with the world in my head becomes my experience of being in this geographic world. And it's, I don't have to have an argument in my head, do I? With the whole world? But in my imagination, I do that. And so I'm suffering and I'm blaming the world. Well, I'm not blaming all of you guys, although I might be trying to, right? I'm blaming the world that's in my own head, the world of my own making. And I'm making up stories of what this world in my head is doing to me. And I don't like it. But who's making up the stories? Me. So we've got this ability to make up stuff, to perceive the world based upon our choice, conscious or unconscious, but what we become aware of. And so Price is trying to make us aware that besides this localized experience of living, we're also simultaneously comfortable and used to having a non-localized experience of living, because we have thoughts which are non-localized. We have love, we have arguments in our head, we have inspiration, we have dreams. All these things can't be pinned down anywhere. We have wonderful scientists, right, going around probing the brain, trying to figure out where our belief in God is. And they tell you to meditate, and like a part of your brain lightens up, and they're like, that's where it is. That's where God is. This piece of your brain that like lightens. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, but it cannot be local. It cannot be present in the brain, right? Because if you chopped off the head, that part of the brain's not going to light up anymore. So there wasn't anything there. But there was a thinker there, and that's us. And we're using this time-space world to relate and to express, but there's another whole dimension that we can be aware of more and more. And the more we become aware of it, the more of that dimension we can experience. And so God, or whatever you want to call that, love or whatever, all we have to do is become more aware of it, that it is there, and we start dwelling in its land and learning what it's about. As I was first came into this particular teaching, my entire world looked like one of chaos and lots of extremely emotional upsets, arguments, and I've still got the argument going on in my own head, right? Have I grown, right? So the thing is, I began contemplating that world of harmony. I didn't see it in my localized world, right? Time and space, people, stuff. And I wasn't, when I began seeing it in my mental world, but as I began saying to myself, harmony, quality of the divine, it's omnipresent. There is harmony here. Let me think. There is harmony here. What happened was I began dwelling in the thinking of harmony, and then my world in time and space started changing. It was still itself, but my relationship with it started changing. And I noticed that my outer world was becoming more harmonious. I was an actress in summer stock out in Michigan when I was really working on this harmony. And apparently, the owner of the theater where I was at was apparently every once in a while he would just blow up and have this, angry, screaming scene going on. And I'm claiming harmony. And I would be busy doing some chore somewhere around in the theater, probably cleaning a toilet. And I would walk into a room where all the other actors in the company were sitting, and they'd all be in shock. And the owner wasn't there anymore. He had just left. And I would say, what's going on? And they're like, oh my God, you just missed it. It was horrible. He was screaming and yelling and throwing things and blah, 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 all this stuff. You missed it. And I thought, I missed it. Harmony. So that the world could still be in its chaos, but I was never there. I never saw the man lose it. And apparently everybody else did. You would see the damage in his wake. And I would walk through, these, people, all over the place. And I was walking in harmony. So this something, call it God, call it love, call it harmony, call it peace, right? In our Tessera Quantum mornings, we've been making up new names for God and trying them on for size, trying them on where? In our thought, right? I am the divine protector, whatever it is. And then discovering that world, that non-localized space, not in space, not in time, like not a dream world, because when we dwell in this other somewhere, something happens to our physical where. And we approach it through our awareness, through where we're thinking, where we're focused. Am I making any sense? Okay, they're saying that out there. Am I making any sense? Yes. Okay, I don't. We'll give them some time out there to go. Right? Because I'm trying to describe something in words, and words are in time and space. Something that's not in time and space. So we've got no words for this, but we experience it. We experience the effect of thinking inside ourselves. and it changes our emotions. Stephanie Ann says yes. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay. It's okay if you say no. I'll just start the talk all over again. So there's something. We know love. We know love. I know if I tune into love just by saying, I am love, I am love, I am love, just by saying, I am love, no matter how I'm feeling, I know if I start saying, I am love, sometimes it might take me just a couple of sayings, I am love. Sometimes it may be 1,000 sayings of I am love. But I know eventually I'll be in that otherworldly land of love. And then my time-space world changes. That's weird. Right? People not in this teaching go, woo, woo, woo. And yeah, because we can't see this other world, but we can operate on it in our awareness, and it changes this world. So that other world is omnipresent. So when I'm knowing love, 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 everything in this physical world changes. Not just the stuff, not just as I'm saying, love, 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 love. It's not just my hair follicles that are, staying of beautiful color, although that certainly does affect it. But my friend in North Carolina comes into my mind. And she gives me a call. And we have this exchange. And then I notice a more loving experience where my Italian teacher gives us easier homework to do. It's a miracle. But we do. So when we dwell in this other somewhere, land, place, consciousness is the word we like to use, consciousness of God, of the divine, of that loving presence, of spirit within, whatever that is. When we dwell there, because it is everywhere, anywhere that we are, and anywhere that we are not, can be changed. And so we experiment. We who are on a spiritual path, right? We're practitioners. We practice spending we can't even say time, right? You might meditate. Let me meditate for 5 minutes, and you plug that into the microwave oven timer, or 15 minutes, or whatever it is. But you know that when you sit there, you begin in time and space, right? And you're uncomfortable, and the cat's bothering you, and the dog wants to go out, and got to meditate for 15 minutes, right? And so we're in time and space, and as we sit there, we slowly become less and less aware of time and space, right? We go somewhere else. Our body's still there, the timer's still ticking, but all of a sudden we can't tell how long it's been. And at some point, we're not even aware of our physical body and the itch that was behind our back. We go somewhere else, but we don't go anywhere. We're right there. And we are in this place, consciousness, even though we haven't gone anywhere. And when the alarm goes off, or when we return, it feels like we're returning, right? Like, where am I? What happened? Oh yeah. What time is it? Oh my gosh. We relocalize ourselves when we come back. And when we are aware, we also can discover everything is different. In a sense, we look up. There is no up. but going to that somewhere, nowhere, everything in our physical world is changed, and we first experience it, right? Our perception. I've been doing this spiritual practice. I took a little class with another minister, Reverend Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis, in January, and one of our spiritual practices was to just look up, right? So all of you, look down. Yeah, you're looking down at the dirty floor here with wires and look, not pretty. And then now look up. Don't look at me, even though I am cute. And do you notice a difference in kind of how you're feeling and maybe how you're thinking just from looking down to looking up? Does anyone notice a difference? Anything? Okay, and now look up just a little bit up, like to a horizon, not like that, but just kind of like look up. And so the practice is simple practice. If you are worried about something and it's going around and around in your head, or let me put it this, you don't even have to be worried about anything. If you're just thinking about the world and all your stuff to do, right? At some point when you're in all that, just look up. And for me, it's like everything in me just quietens down. And then I look back down again, and it's like there's a saner, a wiser, a more empowered me that's now looking at what I had been looking at going, oh, that's not a problem. Or I don't know, it doesn't have that emotional pull on me anymore. So your spiritual homework is to test that out once or twice if it should occur to you. And let me know if there was a difference in you, not yet in that time-space world, but just in you, in having like, oh, I'm driving the car and these cars are crazy and look at that one and look at this one. And, I almost wish that everybody still was isolated. So if you're in that kind of thing, then just take a moment and go, okay, I'm just going to look up for a minute, keeping your eye on the road. I'm looking up. And for me, there's something that goes, who cares? It's okay. So that's our homework. Regina says, for me, it creates a smile. Yeah. Thank you, David. David says, I am making sense. That's good. Okay, so let's take a moment and maybe in our music that Reverend Rich is going to give us, maybe give a look up or two, or just go into that somewhere, nowhere, and contemplate that no thing, everything. And then I'll bring you back. Reverend Rich.
When I give to you, then I give to me. When I give to you, then I give to me. When I give to me. When there's grace in you, then there's grace in me. When there's grace in me, then there's grace in you. Then there's grace in you. When there's light in you, then there's light in me. When there's light in you, then there's light in me. When there's light in me, when There's life in me when I give to you, when I give to me, when I give to you, when I give to me.
See, he explained everything. Yeah, it's all the same thing, right?
My friend Craig Benelli
Craig Benelli.
wrote that.
Okay, he wrote that. All right. So let's just take a moment and dwell in that otherwhere, nowhere, somewhere. And we do this just by saying this word is for each one, localized he or she may be. I know that there is one presence, that loving, intelligent, wise, absolutely magnificent presence, omnipresent, right where each one is, within each one and outside of each one, everywhere around each one, omnipresent. And this loving presence is making its love felt. And each one is aware of it, allowing it, accepting it. And for as long as he or she desires, dwelling in it and benefiting from that awareness, from that dwelling, from that inhabitation of somewhere, nowhere, everywhere, God. And as a result, all that is created in this time-space continuum is somehow different because of that awareness that each one has been giving to this something greater than everything that is. And so with this, I know each one experiences that fulfillment of their heart's desire in some wonderful, very real way. And so I release this word to that law, which is omnipresent, everywhere and nowhere. And it is done. And so it is. And that's the way it is. Boy, what a bizarro talk, right? Okay, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you that everything's changed or something or nothing or who knows what. What do I know? Thank you, Regina, for posting how to make a contribution and the announcement that Reverend Rich gave. Our website is cslprinceton.org. You can make a prayer request. You can communicate with us. You can get links to the Zoom Wednesday evening inspiration and make a donation if you are guided to do that. So please do that. And so it is. Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Stephanie Ann. Yes. And Regina has a beautiful quote by Howard Thurman. Let's hear that, everybody. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go to it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. That's so good. Thank you, Regina. Yes. All right. Okay, you've all responded beautifully. I'll be seeing you next week. Reverend Reach, take
What
us
the
away.
world needs now is what makes you feel alive. What the world needs you. What makes you feel alive? What the world is now. What makes you feel alive?
Okay. Yeah, all right. Ooh, very creative this morning. All right, so thank you all for coming. Thank you, those of you who are here in our studio audience. Thank you all so much. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.
Fare thee well.
Fare thee well. I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.